and I hope that you are ready for some more tea, okay? Hey y'all, and welcome to the Ginger Spice Show. It is your hostess with the mostest, your not so typical school psychologist, Ginger. If this is your first time on my channel, I just want to welcome you to my spot, welcome you to the show, welcome you to this experience, right? I hope that whatever you came here for, wherever you clicked on this video, you get what you need. And I'm glad to have you. Like, I hope you know that I am glad to have you here. And if you are an OG, if you've been a part of the family, if you've been in the house cooking with me, hey love, what is up? What is going on? I really missed you. And I want you to let me know, how are you? How you holding up? What was your week like? What are you getting into? What does life look like for you right now, right? Let me know in the comments. Y'all know I'm ready to talk to y'all. I want to hear from y'all, so let your girl know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the button and hit the bell. Like, y'all know y'all want to come back here, and I tell y'all this every week. I know that you love it. I know that you love what I'm delivering, so do it for me right there. In this week's episode, I will be delivering the real tea about how I made it to the Howard University and what that process was like, from the day that I applied to finding out that I was accepted, all the way until I moved into my apartment. The road was rough, it was kind of tough, but your girl made it. It made it all the way through, so that is what matters, right? So that's what you came here for today. You know I got you. Howard was the only school that I applied to when I was applying for master's programs. I started off with a list. I had about 10 schools, but when it really came down to the wire, I only applied to one, Howard University. Because in my heart of hearts, I knew that's where I wanted to be, but I still had to make a list because you still need options. Options are necessary. So I made my list. So there were 5 master's programs and 5 PhD programs that I was looking into. And it is recommended that you create a list for about 5 to 10 schools, keep it small, that you can apply to. But like I keep telling y'all, my senior year and all of that was kind of crazy. And I realized that I needed a little bit of a change. And Howard was that for me. I knew that I was going to end up at Howard. I didn't know how, I didn't know what even it would look like to get there, but I knew in my heart of hearts that I was gonna end up at Howard University. And that I did. Howard's deadline for their master's program is April 1st. And I waited because don't be like me, y'all. I'm trying to give y'all the answers because I didn't have anybody to give me the answers. So don't be like me, do better. I'm gonna give y'all the tea to make sure that you all do better than me, because that's what I wanna see for y'all. I want y'all to be and do better than I did, okay? Do we have a deal? Like, can y'all pinky promise? All right, pinky promise with me. Cool, thanks. So yes, even though I waited until the last minute to submit my application, I started to get the ball rolling right about in October. Once I had that list together of the schools that I wanted to apply to, I started getting the ball rolling in October. For Howard's master's program, they require that you submit your official transcripts. They want 3 letters of recommendation. They want a statement of purpose, and they also want an autobiographical sketch. All of that is due April 1st. So you have a lot of, like, if you know by the summer, by the end of your senior year, that this is what you want to do, this is where you want to go, you have ample time by that April 1st deadline to get everything together. So I don't want to hear no excuses, y'all. Like I said, don't be like me. Be better than me, okay? We pinky promised. In my statement of research interest, I was able to talk about my individualized major. I was able to really talk about the research that I was doing on campus, and ultimately let Howard know why I was an ideal candidate, because Howard prides itself on being a university and a school-like program that develops learners that are culturally competent and well-versed in working with diverse learners. I'm interested in researching the relational impact that education and health play in the lives of marginalized students in public schools in America. And I was able to hone in on that being what I wanted to research in the work that I was doing in undergrad. So I was able to write about my own personal experience coming from backgrounds that I was trying to research and that I'm trying to work with now. I was able to talk about the research that I was doing at UConn while I was there. And I was also able to bridge the gap and talk about what my practice would look like as a school psychologist and why the missions of the field aligned with what I wanted to do in the future. So I was able to let Howard know that I researched their program and knew what they were trying to do, that I researched the field and knew what the missions of the field were and how I aligned with that. And also to let them know that I already had some research experience and I already was bringing in some cultural competency with me so that I was an ideal candidate. The autobiographical sketch that they ask you to submit is your chance to be able to talk about who you are and how that relates to the work that you want to do. So in my autobiographical sketch, I discussed how my parents had to take a leap of faith coming to America, and they took a leap of faith enrolling me in like Head Start programs, and they took a leap of faith in putting me in Catholic schools, and how those leaps of faith I began to internalize and start to take my own leap of faith, and that me attending Howard University was a leap of faith for me because I didn't think that I would make it that far to wanting to get a master's degree. So even just having that aspiration to get a master's degree as the first person in my immediate family to get a master's degree, that was definitely a leap of faith. So I used my statement of purpose and my autobiographical sketch to build the story and create the story that I wanted to give to Howard University, to let them know about myself on a personal level, but also relating to the research that I wanted to do and the work that I wanted to do that I could do at Howard University. For my 3 letters of recommendation, I asked professors that I had at the time, and I asked one of my advisors for my major as well, because I felt like they knew me well enough to write a good enough recommendation for me. And that's what matters. You need to reach out to people that know you well enough so that they're not just gonna give you a generic recommendation. Because yes, of course, those may work, but you become a better candidate when you have people that actually care about you and know what you're going for and know your goals and all of that, that can vouch for what you're trying to do. One of the professors that I had at the time, he thought that he wasn't a good candidate to write my recommendation, but I thought that he knew me well enough to be able to write a good letter. So those are the things that you have to think about, right? Yes, you can have a professor that has all of the accolades or whatever, but if they don't know you well enough to write something that's going to benefit you, don't ask them. Find somebody that knows you, that's going to pour their heart out into this letter, because these letters can be the difference between an acceptance and a rejection. Honestly, truly. So make sure that you're finding someone that really knows you and knows how much you want to be in the program, how that will benefit your life, how it will benefit your goals, to write you a recommendation. So once I had my application packet together, and I promise y'all, I probably had it together before March 25th, but that critic that's on the inside of you, baby, it'll tell you some things sometimes. So I waited until March 25th when I submitted my application, because I was nervous. I had doubts, I had fears that I was even gonna get into Howard University's master's program. Because parts of me were kind of just like, Janadra, why do you think you can get a master's? Nobody else has done it before you. Like, why is it you? And we need to learn to quiet, like, shh, be quiet, to those little voices that are in our head telling us what we can and can't do. Because if I would have listened, if I would have held out for 6 more days, I wouldn't be where I am today. So what I'm learning now, and it's crazy to think about the fact that like I was able to do it back then, and sometimes it still even impacts me today, is to just do it while you're afraid. Do it scared, do it as excellently as you can, but do it. Like, at the end of the day, just do it. If it's on your heart to do, if you're trying to apply to a program, even if it's not at Howard, and you're watching this, the message that just came on my heart, just do it. And I can say, even with this YouTube channel, y'all, like, I was nervous about doing this. I almost didn't do it. But here we are. Here you are. and that's why I do it. I do it for you. So if you need somebody to do it for, if you need somebody to tell you to do whatever it is that you came here and it was, go ahead and do it. Okay. So March 25th, I submitted my application, and graduation was on May 7th. And I just was like, okay, this is it. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, if I don't get into Howard, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I wasn't applying to jobs. I didn't know. And I just believed that if it was for me, it was gonna happen. So time went by. All this time is passing by. All the time is passing me by, and I still didn't hear anything. And then May 7th comes, and I'm like, okay, I graduated, cool. But I still didn't get an acceptance. So it was May 11th, 2017. I'm sitting at my grandmother's house in the couch, and I get an email. It's about 8 o'clock at night. I just got in the house. I'm on FaceTime with my best friend, and I get an email. And I read the email. And it's from Howard University, and I got accepted. Y'all gonna get tired of me telling y'all that I cried. But when I tell y'all I cried, like, I was on the phone with my best friend crying. Like, I just got into Howard University. The one school that I applied to, the only school that I applied to, I was accepted to. Whew, baby, like, it felt really, really good to know that all my hard work had paid off, and I was there. I made it. So you got in. What's next? I had to figure out how I was going to pay for Howard. I had to figure out where I was gonna live when I got to Howard. I had to figure out how I was gonna pay for school. Like, it didn't go without challenges, but that's just how life is gonna go. And you realize that as you continue to grow, that a life without challenges is a life that you probably don't even want to live. Okay? Just dropping some real tea for y'all. A life without challenge is a life that you probably don't want to live. I thought that I was gonna go to Howard as a grad student and live on campus. I don't know why I thought that. Whatever. But Howard didn't have any housing for their undergrad students, let alone little old me as a grad student. So they suggested looking on their off-campus housing site, and that is exactly what I did. I went up there, set up a profile, put my cutest picture up there, put up a cute little bio about who I was or whatever. And my DM started to hit. Like, people started to hit me up like, hey girl, I want to be your roommate. So that Howard housing site, that's how I found my roommate that I stayed with my whole 2 years while I was in the DMV. And the whole housing process, yeah, she was a godsend because she did the whole thing for real. Like, she went down there and looked at places, got everything together. And I thank God for that, because my family wasn't in the place, like, financially, mentally even, to do that. So I thank God for her for being able to do that. And she found us a really nice place to live. It was called Summit Hills Apartments in Silver Spring, and I loved it. It was pretty cheap. It was decent rent. We had a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it was about $1,860 for rent, so we split that, and that's where I lived, and it was great. When people move down to DC, and it's something that they probably don't even tell y'all, is that people really don't move into DC. So they move into the outskirts, where you're thinking about like the Prince George's County, Montgomery County. They're living in Maryland, where rent is gonna be typically cheaper than in the district. So that's what we did to get the most bang for our buck, and that worked out for us. In the Silver Spring area, there are a bunch of apartment complexes that are student friendly. Along with Summit Hills, there's the Blairs down the street. There are the Twin Towers that are in Silver Spring. A lot of Howard students live at the V Towers in Hyattsville. That's also a great alternative. So if you're looking for somewhere to live while you are at Howard or while you're in the DMV, those are some really great places to start. So financial aid, Howard financial aid. Let us take one moment of silence for Howard financial aid. So for me and the members of my cohort, there wasn't any financial aid. Like, in terms of scholarships and grants. And like they tell you, it is very expensive to attend Howard University because it is a private university. So I almost didn't go to Howard because of the money, because of how much it was gonna cost for me to attend Howard University. So I'm sitting at home in the summer and I'm really trying to like apply for all these private loans, not getting them because I don't have credit. I come from a family that sucks at credit. So it was a struggle. But I put my faith in God, and my dad was going to help me. We were going to set up a payment plan and try to figure it out. Howard University did not offer anything in my package. Anything. But that was the price that I was willing to pay to get a better education, to get more education, to do what it was that I wanted to do. I came out of UConn having had paid for about 1 year of school, and I did 4 years. I did summers, so that was a really great deal for me, right? So having to pay for my master's degree, while there are options and other opportunities and other things that you could do so that you could make it that you don't have to pay for a master's program, I took that on because that was what I wanted to do. And I'm a firm believer in whatever is for you is for you. So it was for me. I'm here. I did it. I have some loans. I'm still living life. It's gonna be like that. Well, I have a nice little bit of debt that I am in for my master's degree. But for me, it was worth it. And you really have to make that decision for yourself. You really have to think about what's best for you in this process and understand that loans aren't bad. When you get a credit card, you still have to pay that back. When you get a car, you still have to pay that back. Why not do that for your education? There's a very large return on investment for your education. So for me, I was willing. If you're willing, the opportunity is there. Me and my cohort members, we did it. And we all have, like, you know, it really is about what you want and how you're gonna get that out of that. So once all of that was figured out, and once all of the finances were figured out, and how I was going to pay for rent, how I was going to pay for school, I packed up and I moved to Maryland. I moved to the DMV. And my time in the DMV, my time at Howard really changed my life. It just was so amazing, and I'm so happy that I took that leap of faith to do that for myself, and I took out those loans, and I really made that opportunity what it was for myself and for my future. And I'm so grateful and indebted to myself for that opportunity. The message, my final message before I part with y'all: if there is something that you want to do that is on your heart, do it. Do it scared, do it broke, do it without all of the knowledge. Just do it. And if it's meant to be, if it is for you, it will work itself out. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, family, for stopping by at my dinner table and drinking up some real good ginger tea with me. I hope that you got everything that you wanted out of this video. I hope I was able to answer as many questions as you all had. And if not, drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them in my next video. If you haven't already, here's your chance to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell, because I know you want to. I know you want to come back. You love it here. You love it. You love it here. I'll see y'all next week on The Ginger Spice Show.